What's up, guys? So today I remembered, because it's very hard to escape, that I wanted to address this topic because it's kind of strange, but it occurred to me, so I just said, you know what, I'll stream about it, ramble about it, see what other people have to say about it. But you guys know how after Thanksgiving, the inevitable happens in the music world when you go to retail stores, and that is that you start hearing Christmas music. So I tried to pay attention to the lyrics during slow times. We all know the more popular ones, and hopefully, we are all familiar with the lyrics. I honestly try to summon the lyrical content in my brain, but I'm just not very good at it because the only time I dealt with lyrics and Christmas songs was when I was in school and I was taking choir. So, anyways, but the thought that occurred to me is in the form of a question, and that is, does Christmas music really make people happy? Because you know how the lyrics tend to be all about it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the happiest time of the year. It's the season for joy and celebration and da 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 da. So I just want to know, do people out there genuinely feel influenced by this positively? And they're like, oh, heck yeah, it's Christmas. So everyone has to be happy. Everyone's season is going to be perfect and whatnot. Of course, the answer to that is no. But what I am trying to dive into is if music that relates to the season, like Christmas music, if it really helps people feel more festive, more Christmassy, more into the spirit. So for me, of course, you guys can guess that the answer is no, because I am not someone who is all that obsessed with celebrating anything, to be truthful. But I just cannot help but wonder, like, do people really feel like Christmas music helps them enjoy the season better? Like, I wonder if there is such a thing as a Christmas party or a Christmas dinner or something, and that's the music that they are playing. I mean, I don't expect for you to be listening to, like, if you're in a family gathering where your grandparents are there, I do not expect for you to be blasting your rap music or something, whatever it is that you hear, your hip hop, whatever is popular these days. But yeah, like for me, Christmas music does not help me at all because, in my opinion, what's better than Christmas music? My answer is everything. So to be bombarded by it for a month and a half, everywhere I go, especially in a place where I spend so many hours of my life in, which is my job, to hear that music is like, oh boy. I know that it lasts a very short period of time, but I would do anything in my power to avoid it, but I know that I cannot. But anyways, I thought that I would bring this up and share it with you guys and see what you guys have to say. And I see that Jordan is here. Greetings. And he says, Merry Christmas. I play Christmas forever. Well, for me, it's like I said, my memories of Christmas songs are pretty vague because I do not really listen to them. So I could not sing a song from beginning to end, or at least lyrically accurately. But but you know what I should do? I should do like a spoof and then maybe change the lyrics up to what I used to think the song said. Maybe misheard lyrics type of deal. But anyways, did I just die and fall into heaven? I hope not, because you're here and I'm certainly, yeah, like this is planet Earth for now, Garuda. So but anyways, maybe you are recovering from last night, because if I remember right, you were drinking? Anyways, I thought I would try messing with you. Christmas music is beautiful songs about God, and I do love other music. Well, on that note, I guess you're right when you look at it that way, but then I cannot help but question it because you know um, that there's some stuff about God and I guess that stuff that's not entirely accurate. So, for starters, apparently we're not supposed to be naming God God. You know, he has his own name. Like, there's Yahuwah and Yahusha or something like that. I wouldn't know how to spell it. I can recognize it when I see it. But, but yeah, it's where did Christmas music come from? When was it composed? Who wrote it and who published it? That's what I want to know. It was a compliment. It basically means when I wake up and see an angel. Yeah, yeah, I figured it had to be something along those lines. But of course, I like to keep you in reality, reality check. In other words, ruin good times. Because that's what I do. I'm just a big troll in disguise. You just don't know that about me yet. But yeah, guys, I also wanted to share a quick story about something that happened to me at work that I thought was absolutely hilarious. And that was so I had to do a little bit of walking around the store, and during that walking, what I was in charge of was making sure that everything was in place, everything was restocked. Like, say you go to the bathroom, everything has soap, everything has paper towels, all that good stuff. So when I get to the bathrooms that are for the public, both of them are occupied. So naturally, I just stand outside the door and I wait very, very patiently, like the very patient individual that I am when I am being paid for every second that I am in that building in that uniform. And then I told myself, it's awfully long how long these two people are taking in the restroom. So it was about 8-ish minutes. And during that interim, there was an older lady who joined me at waiting for the bathrooms to be unoccupied. And then I also needed to wait for the restroom because the reason I stood there is because there's a log that I need to fill out in the restroom, so I cannot just skip that and keep going. And this was toward the end of my shift. But anyways, at some point I have two co-workers just pass by, so of course we chat for like a couple of seconds. And then another person comes up to, I don't know, get like supplies for their drinks, like a cup holder and stuff like that, whatever the hell. And then finally, the lady, I felt bad for that old lady who was waiting with me because I'm like, I want to tell her something, but I don't know what kind of conversation to begin. I don't want to keep using the overly saturated question of, how was your Thanksgiving? Or, it's really cold outside. Like, I don't like to bring up the obvious bull crap, right? So, anyways, the lady, I happened to make eye contact with her, and she looks at me and she's like, well, this is unusual that the people are taking long. Are you sure that you checked the door? And I'm like, yes. And I did not like turn the knob to prove to her that indeed it was busy. But what was strange for me is that I wasn't hearing anything happening in the bathroom, but whatever. You don't have to be you don't have to be loud when you're in there for us to acknowledge your existence. But anyways, the lady was like, "Are you sure that you checked and this and that?" And I'm like, "Yes." But in my mind, as the very sarcastic and just very easily irritable human being that I am, when I hear stupid stuff in the sense of you are questioning my thoroughness, I couldn't help but think, what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just kick down the door and yank the person who is inside of there? Yank them out so that you can have your turn in the bathroom? Like, good God, I get it, lady. I know what it's like to be waiting for the bathroom when you need it, whether it's badly or not. But seriously, in the position that I was, there's not a damn thing I can do, and I am not about to unlock that door and try to see what people are up to because I don't need to be looking at that kind of business, you know? So just sit tight, be patient. I'm sorry that the bathroom only accommodates a few people at a time, but just take it easy. But but yeah, I just thought that I would share that because it's amazing. The type of thing that people will say to you, it's like clearly these bathrooms are occupied. You cannot simply accidentally lock them when you're on your way out. You would have to be trying to do that, and people around here don't do that. But yeah, it's like she just stared at me like, you do something, girl. And I'm like, what do you want me to do? What? I'm not going to knock it down. The same thing that you are doing, which is nothing. That is exactly what I can do on the matter. Nothing. Nothing about the person taking long alarms me. Like, there is no weird sounds. There's no foul odor that's very obvious and very unusual. Like, nothing about the situation raised any concern. So you just needed to sit tight and wait. But anyways, I guess not everyone has the same tolerance for how long you can hold stuff, but and I don't encourage that either, but I just think it's weird. Like, I know that the people were taking long. I was thinking in my mind, yeah, these people are taking long, but good God, just chill out, chill out. I like your shirt. I appreciate it. It was a compliment. Okay. Christmas was a pagan holiday, but those music is from Christians promoting the story of Jesus away from pagans. Jesus was born during Easter. Yes, that is true. Pagan stuff. I need to get another conversation rolling with my mom about that because it's been a while. But yeah, guys, it's crazy that that story has been altered and changed so many times that usually for the modern person it's very difficult to know for sure what the hell is right, what the hell is wrong, especially when you are not discussing that regularly and you are not surrounded by people who know what they're talking about. Fortunately, I have my given that she's like that. It's because she always gave me like the freedom of choice. As an individual, I can choose whether I want to believe in that stuff or not. And of course I do. But she never forced me to like, you have to go to Sunday school or you have to go to church or you have to do this and that. Nah, she always left it up to me, and I loved that so much because I feel like even though I ended up being a agnostic who's more on the believing side, I feel like I might have resented being forced to do something that I didn't want or like. So it's good to know that I had such a cool parent in that department. Nothing sucks more than being forced to do something you don't want to do. For me, at least. Amen. Yes, Christmas is about the day God was born. God has all kinds of names, but it's still the same name. Do you guys think that I remember watching a YouTube video a while ago, and it was someone who was talking about the importance of addressing God by their proper name or by his proper name. And they said, well, think about it. Names are important because if they chose the example of language, let's say that you have your name in English is John, and then in French it may be Jean, like Jean. It sounds like it looks like Jean or something. I imagine that's the translation. And then in Spanish it's Juan. So if I were in this country and my name is John and someone tries to call me by the name of Juan, I'm not going to respond to it. I'm not going to react to it. So, therefore, if you pray to God and you do not address Him with His proper name, He may not answer your prayers. Does that make sense to you guys? Do you guys think that's true? Do you guys think that really matters? Or do you guys think that God, being the powerful entity that He is, can be like, okay, this person is clearly addressing me. They're not using my proper name, but they're still addressing me. I'm not going to be a rude God and just dismiss them just because they're not addressing me by my name. What do you guys think? I thought that was pretty interesting, but I thought I would bring it up because I like to think that God, being the superior being, can handle that, but at the same time, the person introduced the point in a very interesting way, which is, well, would you respond to a name that's not yours? No. So why would God? And I'm like, well, because I am just a mere mortal, whereas God isn't. So I'm not sure how to handle that one. I thought it was an interesting inquiry, but again, I like to think of God as being more capable than that. So, but maybe I'm wrong. So if I'm wrong, I just want to know. I thought it was interesting. Uh, that is why they show Jesus and the shepherds. Jesus was born in the desert. You know what's something that's interesting? That you guys know how there's this thing called the Sabbath, and the English language is so freaking phony that it doesn't even give you a hint that Saturday is supposed to be when Sabbath takes place. Like, what I mean by that is Saturday, nothing about Saturday sounds like Sabbath. Whereas in Spanish, we have sábado, and then it starts with Sabbath, Sabbath. So when I was learning that, I was like, wait, I cannot believe that there's such a huge coincidence that these two words, this event takes place in this date and then in another language, the name of the day actually sort of honors that. So then when I thought about it, I was just mind blown because I'm like, Ming. I feel like English is just such a language full of so much deception. But I mean, what else? What else can we say? I mean, just look at the world around you. Let me see. That is why they show Jesus and the shepherds. Jesus was born in the desert. The North Star is still visible. Yes, you're right. You're welcome, Zimri. It's all in the Bible. He's not human. He was human once when he was human. I gave up my faith before I went Buddhist in the military. After so many times I believe God is the creator of humans, the fact that the solar eclipse existed for so long is not a coincidence. God is the only way in heaven. English comes from Latin and Greek. Yeah, it's not even a Romance language, but when I think about it, I feel like it generates a lot of misunderstandings because from what other people tell me, like people who are much more skilled at other languages than me, is that they find that their ability to comprehend people vastly improved when they learned another language. And usually it is those who have English as a maternal language trying to learn another language who tend to have a difficult time, particularly with Romance languages, because so much gets lost in that translation, and some stuff doesn't really have a literal translation. It's like idiomatic expressions. I will never forget when I was trying to learn some of that stuff, and I'm like, what? I cannot really think of any examples, but I know that I have a list somewhere. And I just know them when I hear them. I'm like, oh, that's right. I remember when I struggled with this for such a long time. And now that you understand it's pretty silly. You wonder why you struggled in the first place, but yeah, I would encourage everyone to try to learn another language. It's difficult. Like, I could feel my brain matter changing every time I would challenge myself with that stuff, but at least I feel like having access to information that's from a different culture is very beneficial. I feel like it really opens up my mind to a whole nother world of possibilities that if I had the limitation of being monolingual, I would not be able to appreciate and grasp. That's just my opinion. It may not work for everybody, but yeah, I would encourage that. And even if you cannot speak a language, to be able to understand how other languages work, I think that's good enough. Like God knows that I cannot like speak French, but the little bit that I understand, it's like, interesting. It's interesting that we have some of their words in our language and we see how that improves our language. So I think it's cool. I think it's cool. People gotta be careful giving their children names. All names mean something. God created life and all things in order. The Bible gives all the answers. You know what? I get that so much. Like, what does your name mean? This and that. And I'm like, for starters, I did not choose my name. Second of all, I was named after a student that my mother had. And third of all, I have tried looking it up, but it doesn't appear anywhere. And it doesn't help that I guess I can safely assume that my name was altered from an original spelling of some other word, but I don't want to just make assumptions. So I cannot just research it. So it's whatever. I don't feel like I need to know what my name means, but even if my name had a meaning, I like to just be like, you know what? How about if I give it a meaning? Like, you know? But, anyways, it's boring. I'm not gonna dwell on that. Romans were not nice in Africa. They were so baffled that people built the pyramids that they took Africans to the Colosseum or Colosseum. Did you mean the Colosseum? I feel like you mean Colosseum. I know that Colossus is a word, but just let me know. I know who I am named after. Um, on that note of the pyramids, what do you guys think about giants? Do you guys think that there were truly gigantic humans back in the day, or like, you know how there are times when every once in a while we read an article about how these big bones that belong to human like creatures just turn up somewhere, and how some statues and stuff in Egypt, particularly, how those things, we're not sure how those things were built or how they were placed there, like these boulders, these rocks, and whatnot. And then that some hieroglyphics show or depict humans that are huge, carrying some of this stuff. What do you guys think about that? I like to say that yes, at some point we were humans that look different, like I believe in evolution. So I want to say that because we did not work as hard as we did back then, our bodies simply evolved to be more practical for the current climate, atmosphere, level of work that we do and whatnot. But but I mean, maybe they did just go extinct for like no reason. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what kind of opinion to have on that. Maybe I should save that for a separate stream, but I'm one of those people who believes anything is possible. But for me to sit here and confirm or deny something, it's like, I'm not very qualified in anything really to be confident about proposing that my opinion has a lot of substance. So I don't know. I just like to mention it and see what you guys think. Zamri, you look super beautiful. Thanks. Yes, I believe there were giants. On the subject of Christmas music, all I know is that there are a couple of Christmas pop songs I try to avoid hearing every year, like some kind of reverse bingo. I heard. But oh my god, we all have that song that we just hear, and our hearing composition, like maybe the structure of our ears, do not allow us to tolerate that sound no matter what. Because I will never forget the song that made me super irritable in 2008. And maybe I'll create a separate stream talking about songs that had that effect on me, but for right now, I ain't gonna do that. Because this is going to turn into a rant and I'm gonna start cussing. And Zam is wearing Christmassy clothes. She's trying to be a good girl. The Roman Colosseum. I think it's current day Spain. I think Rome is in Italy. I am sure that is the case. Demon, dragons, giants, bugs, giant humans, dinosaurs. Where is Rome? When Adam and Eve pulled the apple against God, everybody turned small. 1 second, yep, Italy. Just looked it up. Yeah, when it comes to capitals of the world, I'm pretty confident. Like, yeah, Rome is in Italy. It should be the capital too, unless stuff has just changed ever since I left school. Maybe I should do that an around the world map with countries and just have the name of the countries and not labeled in any way and see if I can remember what the capitals are. Because I used to be good with that mess, but it's been a while. It's interesting. I knew the capitals of countries, but I could never memorize the capitals of US states. So, yeah, that would be a fun topic. I should try that. Where is Italy? Europe? Uh, Mediterranean Sea? Um, Bordering. Does it touch France? I like to say that it touches France. No. Yes. I don't fucking know. They took years to die the way sin came on earth. How far did the Roman Empire fall? They had the entire world, and now the country Rome is in isn't even called Rome. That's a good ass question. You guys, world history was definitely one of my weakest topics. So I would not really be the best person to ask about that one. Like, I remember names of things. I remember the name Byzantine Empire. I remember Alexander the Great, which was not so great. But I don't know what he did or what he said or what he wanted. I remember Mesopotamia. I remember names, but I don't remember the details about it. So I don't think that's very useful. Let's see what else happened. I don't know. I don't know anything about ancient times like that. Wasn't there a guy named Augustus or something? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They lost to the Ottoman Empire. Oh yeah, the Ottoman Empire. Yes, Rome was a big, powerful place. Romans were not nice people. Absolutely not. From what I remember, I always had a like sour opinion about them. Oh God, no, the Romans were bastards. Ah. Well, I guess on that note, shoot, I don't know. I just know that I wish that we had access to the stuff that's in the Vatican because apparently not even the Pope has access to some stuff, like some scrolls, papers, documents that's supposed to have the truth about a lot of things. So, if that even is true, I mean, I want to say it's true. It has to. It has to be. They hated Jesus when he was on earth. And then of course there's the talk about how the Israelis are not really the first original Israelites. So like I said, there's a lot of deception going on. So I guess we all just have to do our individual reading and find that out. Unfortunately, I'm not very like well informed on that topic, but I'm working on it slowly, but surely. All right, guys. Well, I'm about to hit that 30-minute mark. I'm going to bail because I will be out and about in a few, but I just wanted to squeeze in a stream about my immediate thoughts just in case later on I do not have an opportunity to visit and hang out. I won't call Romans bastards, but we live in a Roman society. The Romans killed Jesus. Wait, I think I remember a name. Pilatus? Pontius? Pontius? Pilate? Pilatus? Does anyone know who I'm trying to say? Wasn't that the disciple who betrayed Jesus or something? I know there was someone who betrayed Jesus on that Last Supper or something. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to be a good girl and like show a thing or two, but my memory of it is very foggy. It's not something I really studied in depth, but a girl can try. Uh, you're so beautiful. Take care. Nice talking to you. I love your videos. I'm so glad you love them. So glad you love them. Jesus led them to die on the cross. All right, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I will see you soon.